Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today's lesson, division of decimals by a decimal. The last lesson we did division of decimals by a whole number. Now we're going to do division of decimals by a decimal. In decimals and division of decimals, this is the most complicated concept, dividing decimals by decimals. Now let's just take a look at what that looks like. Suppose we had 3 and 48/100 divided by 6/10. Okay, divided by 6/10. Now we have a decimal here, a mixed decimal, and we have a decimal here. Just a review, remember this sign means divided by, just like this means divided by. They both mean divided by. So we have 3 and 48/100 divided by 6/10. Now here's the critical skill. This is the one skill that you have to know. Anytime you're dividing decimals by a decimal, we have to make sure that the divisor, this number is called the divisor, is in the form of a whole number. So to get our divisor in the form of a whole number, we have to move our decimal place one place to here. And if we move it one place, we don't write it. But if we move this one place, then we have to move the decimal one place here. So we have to make this a whole number, so we move the decimal place one place. Remember, it was 6/10, but now we move the decimal one place, and then we have to move the decimal place in the dividend, in the number being divided into one place. So now the decimal place is here. Now, this is a whole number, so this is just like dividing decimals by a whole number. So we go 6 into 3, 6 cannot go into 3, but 6 could go into 34. 6 can go into 34 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. We subtract 4, take away 0, 4. We bring down our 8. 6 can go into 48 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. 0, nothing to bring down, so we're done. Now we have to remember to put our decimal place, just like when we were dividing by whole numbers. Now, it's a good idea to check your answer. And the way you can check your answer is if you multiply the divisor times your answer. So our answer is 5 and 8/10. If I multiply that by our initial divisor, which was 6/10. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 5 is 30, and 4 is 34. Now I multiplied decimals, so I have to count my decimal places. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I got the same. So I know that this answer is correct, just by multiplying the initial divisor by my answer. All right, let's take a look at another problem. Again, the skill here is to make sure that the divisor is in the form of a whole number. The divisor has to be in the form of a whole number. Let's take this problem. Whoop, my bad. 2 and 7/10 divided by 3/100. Well, 2 and 7/10 is divided by 3/100. Well, the first step when I'm dividing decimals is I have to make sure that I make the divisor a whole number. So to do that, I have to move the decimal place 2 places. So by moving the decimal place 2 places, 1, 2, I actually get rid of the 0, and I don't write the decimal here, but now I have to move this 2 places, 1, 2, and put the decimal here. Well, then I have to put a 0 in there. So now the problem becomes 3 divided to 270. Well, let's do the division. 3 goes into 2, cannot go into 2, it's too big. 3 goes into 27, 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. We get 0, bring down the 0, 3 goes into 0, 0 times, let me get rid of this, and that's 0 and 0, and so the problem's done, and then we just put our answer up there. So the answer then is, let me just erase this so it's clearer, 2 and 7/10 divided by 3/100 is 90. And we can check our answer. We can check to see if this is right. We take our answer, 90, and we multiply it by the initial divisor. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 9 is 27. We don't multiply by 0 because that's 0. But we're multiplying, so we count our decimal places. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we can cross this off because that's a trailing decimal. And we get 2 and 7/10. So we know our answer is correct. So again, just to repeat myself, the skill is to make sure that you change the divisor into a whole number. Here's a problem for you to do. Put the video or DVD on pause, work the problem, and then we'll take a look, and turn it back on and we'll take a look at it. Well, okay. We have 2 and 76/100 divided by 6/10. So let's write the problem. 2 and 76/100 divided by 6/10. Well, we know we have to have our divisor as a whole number. To make this a whole number, we just move the decimal place one place over. So then we have to move this decimal place one place over. And then we do our division. 6 cannot go into 2 because 6 is too large, but 6 can go into 27 4 times. 4 times 6, 24. We subtract, we get 3. We bring down our 6. 6 goes into 36 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. 0, so the problem is done. Now we just bring our decimal up. So the answer is 4 and 6/10. Good. Well, I think we're going to have time for one more. Let's give you a fancy one here. Let's give you $768 10,000s divided by 800s. Okay, put it on pause, work the problem, and then turn it back on again. All right, let's see how you did. Let's set it up. $768 10,000s. Oh, my bad. Divided by 8/10. I hope that didn't mess you up. But if it did, then just follow along here, and I apologize for that. Well, we have to make this a whole number, so we have to move the decimal place 2 places to over here, which means we'll be getting rid of that, and now we just have the whole number 8. And if we moved it 2 places here, we have to move it 2 places here and put it there. Well, 8 goes into 0, it can't. 8 goes into 7, it cannot. But 8 can go into 76 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72, and we subtract, and we get 4. We bring down the 8. 8 goes into 48 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48, and that's 0. And the problem is done, and then we just put our decimal there. And I really apologize for leaving that out of the problem. I hope you realize that it should have been in, but if not, you can see how it works here. Well, our 10 minutes are up. Okay, again, if we are multiplying decimals by a decimal, Pardon me, I'm going to shut that off. Okay. If we're multiplying decimals by a decimal, let's say we have 9/10 or 97 hundredths divided by 2/10. We have to set it up. 97 hundredths, 2/10. We have to make sure to make this a whole number. So to do that, in this case, we have to move the decimal place 1, and then we would have to move this decimal place 1. Then we just do the division and put our decimal place right above in the answer. Well, thank you very much for your patience. Again, I apologize for the mistake on that last one. I hope it didn't mess you up. Thank you.